You guys are enemies. I am tired of it. You can't sit down and have a decent darn conversation without all of this foolishness. All I care about is you guys. I just lost a child. Suppose something happened, Gina. I'm like,
well, yes. That is exactly what a karmic family is. And that is exactly what a karmic family will feel like. You will feel like your family members are your enemies. You will feel like your siblings and your aunts and your uncles and your mother and your father. It's going to feel like you are Daniel in a lion's den. And when you look at the way the family operates, there's a lot of anger and animosity towards each other. What you guys saw, that was a scene from the Braxtons. I want to make sure I give credit. The Braxtons on WeTV. That was the mother, Evelyn, talking to all of her daughters. And when she mentioned her child is the child that passed. She did lose a daughter. And now this is the rest of the daughters. So karmic families are always going to have these intense blow-ups and arguments and back and forths, because karmic families is something spiritual. I come from a karmic family. I've divested, thank God, because I needed to step into destiny and purpose, and I cannot be connected to that type of demonic energy. I think that karmic families are there to teach you how to love yourself, how to assert boundaries, how to separate yourself, and then eventually how to ascend. And a lot of times, this is popular in Black culture, Latino culture, island culture, is what the elders of the families don't understand is they let the problems get too big. They don't mediate things when it first starts. They don't stop it when it first starts. That's very popular in island culture. They keep brushing negative things that happened under the rug and say, oh, you guys are family, just hug it out, let's go eat. Nobody ever really talks things through and gets to the bottom of it. Nobody gets consequences or repercussions for what they do. So with these karmic families, everything starts to pile up over time. And then it gets to a point of no return where everybody is at each other's heads all the time. And then, of course, the elders are like, oh, my God, you guys are operating like you guys are enemies. This is ridiculous. But at the same time, those same elders did not step in when the dysfunction started. They let the dysfunction pile up for years. And then they want to throw, we're all family, get over it on top of it. And it simply does not work that way, especially when the matters of the heart are involved. Let's get into it. Now, there's one person that I'm going to point out also. That's why I have Toni in the thumbnail, is Toni Braxton. And the reason why I'm pointing her out specifically is because I relate to her a lot more than the other ladies based on how she feels towards her family, because that is the exact same way I felt when I divested from my family. A lot of times when you look at Toni Braxton in these scenes, you can tell that this is someone that probably should have divested from her family a long time ago. Not because Toni is angry, but because when she's around her family, she looks very tired. She looks very like she's dissociating in a way. She really just looks over it. Like she's not even angry or mad. She simply doesn't want to be there. But she's still there via obligation. And a lot of you guys, you're finally at that point. Once you hit that point, now it's really time to divest, because your soul is ready to just ascend and jump to the next level, because you simply cannot be tied to the karmic family anymore. Check out these scenes by Toni Braxton.
I am confessing that although I love my family, most of the time I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, it wouldn't be my friends.
Now, when it's finally time for an individual to divest, escape, survive, and leave the karmic family, What you guys see, Toni Braxton, you guys saw her talking like super monotone, looking over it, tired, taking deep breaths. That is when your body is like, I can't do this anymore. I'm ready to bounce. And if you continue to stay, what's going to happen is resentment is going to build up because you're going to realize how much you sacrificed to stay within that family unit. And then when you realize how much happiness, how much time, how many seasons of your life that you've lost because you wanted to stay tied to them or you didn't want to feed them with that long spoon, you're going to start to feel resentful. Check this scene out with Miss Toni.
Didn't have that responsibility, and if they weren't leaning on you, what would your life look like? What would you be doing?
Well, I would have soared higher.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So it's one thing when you believe that your karmic family held you back from your potential, which can turn into feelings of resentment over time. So Toni feels like her family is a kind of like a burden. And like she said, if they weren't her family, she wouldn't be her friend. She doesn't really want to be around them. But then there's Tamar, who has a completely different perspective, where I feel like Tamar is the family member that just feels like her family just doesn't like her. Like she feels rejected by her family. She feels like they don't like her, and she doesn't really know why they don't like her. So if you guys are the family member that maybe you relate to Tamar, make sure you guys put in the comments, who do you relate more to, Tamar or Toni? Tamar doesn't really feel like her family's a burden. I think she just feels rejected, misunderstood, like they don't like her. When in reality, Tamar just has a personality that they most likely probably just cannot mesh with. And in life, sometimes you're going to have a personality that people just don't like. It's not you. It's not you personally. It's not something that you're doing. It's your personality and what you represent, and they just don't like it. Check out this clip.
It no longer serves me to beg. I have no desire.
Can I ask, what do you mean beg? When you say I don't want to beg.
Beg for sisterhood, beg for a friendship, beg for time, beg for none of that.
I'm sorry if I made you feel like you were begging. That was never my intention. I would never want you to feel like you were begging for sisterhood or time. Like for real, from my heart, I would never want you to feel that way. It's something we're doing wrong as sisters, and we're not getting it because Tamar has felt this before.
I call all of my siblings. I damn near begged them to come hang out with me.
And there you have it. That's Tamar's perspective. Some of you guys with your karmic family, that's your perspective. You're like the one where everybody they just don't like you. You don't really know why. I personally think that, again, Toni, you could see even in that scene, again, still giving very much over it. I don't really think she wants anything to do with any of them, but by obligation and because she's the eldest, she still has to be there. But I don't think that that is her preference. Now, let's get into the general, let's get to the meat of the video now, where I talk about karmic families in totality, because we have a lot to discuss here. Let's get going.
Got me a new phone, and I called you and I said, this other phone is about to be cut off because I took my credit card off because I found out.
Now, you guys know I am the queen when it comes to human behavior and body language. When I watched that scene, I came to the conclusion, okay, Tamar may be a victim of reactive abuse. I was watching the scene and I'm like, okay, anytime there is a scene or a situation where women are at odds, women are very good at cosplaying, manipulating, and acting. So you have to be very sharp with the cues, and you have to be sharp with looking at their body language, and you have to be sharp at looking at what's not said to really see who's lying and who's telling the truth, because women are phenomenal Oscar-nominated actors. So when I looked at that scene, I'm like, I wonder who's at odds here. And once I saw the way that Tawanda looked at the other sister and how they smirked, and one of them blinked their eye, I'm like, oh, okay, I caught that. But it was really quick though. But again, you got to learn how to be quick with it when you're dealing with people. People are very covert. So you need to be quick at looking at how they look at you when you're not looking, weird gestures. You got to look at them and it'll tell you. So look at this in slow motion. If you look at this in slow motion, I'm going to play it again twice in slow motion. You're going to see that these two women, in my opinion, I personally feel like there's some bullying going on. and there's some purposefully poking of the bear, and this is very, very popular in toxic karmic family units.
Because I took my credit card off because I found out. Took my credit card off because I found out.
Surviving Karmic Family Units, a series. This will be a series, you guys. I will be covering different family units that you guys see on TV and also general family things. We're entering holiday season. Let's get into it. Surviving Karmic Family Units, a series. The Braxtons. So before I go in on my analysis, I want to make it very, very clear that I do not know any of these people. I do not know them. I am not judging them. I come from a completely dysfunctional, upside down, narcissistic family unit. So I am not one to judge. I want to make that clear, but I've divested. And it's my job to help you guys level up, ascend, and divest.
If you don't resonate or align with my teachings, then my content is not for you. Avoid commenting, subscribing, or interacting. Instead, go to a page where you resonate. If you comment something foul, disrespectful, or like something foul or disrespectful, you will be blocked. I will also block you if you comment any contradictory to my message. I don't post for your agreement, so please think about that before you run and comment, I don't agree. Think about that. It doesn't matter. I post what I am led to post. Your agreement or okay was never needed. I don't need your permission. Let's get into it.
From these kind of families. So before I go into these young ladies, they're all sisters, by the way. Before I go into my observations, I want to make a few things clear about surviving karmic family units. Number one, you are not supposed to stay in your karmic family for the duration of your lifespan. Karmic families are there to teach you a lesson. When you reach a certain age where you realize that your family is rejecting ascension, what does it mean to reject ascension? Rejecting ascension mainly means that somebody has highly toxic behaviors that they are not willing to change. They are not willing to take accountability for it. They are not willing to apologize for it. They are not willing to change it. Once you realize that your family is rejecting ascension, you go ahead and keep ascending and you leave them behind. Karmic families were not created for you to stay in the family for the duration of your lifetime. Why? Toxic families cause a lot of problems, okay? Karmic families, you will never reach your fullest potential staying there. You're going to develop all type of illnesses. You're going to get sick. You're not going to reach your goals. They're going to break you down. They're going to destroy every piece of happiness that comes your way. Karmic families are there for you to look at them and learn to love yourself. Toxic and karmic families are there to help you learn how to see what dysfunction looks like within self and within others. Karmic and toxic families are there to teach you how to be better, how to learn how to turn your back on negativity. And karmic families are there to help you ascend and move on to bigger and better while leaving the bad behavior behind. The biggest mistake that men and women make is you keep your karmic family connected to you for the whole duration of your lifespan. My karmic family, their history. They will never see me again, never encounter me again. They'll probably see me on TV. That's the farthest it'll go. See me on their computer screen. That's the farthest it'll go. But that's done. That's a book that will never reopen again. It's locked and buried. That is done. I've learned the lesson. I've ascended. I've healed. I've grown. I've realized and recognized my faults. I've realized and recognized their faults. They will not ascend. I cannot allow my destiny to be tampered with because a group of people are rejecting healing. And it's very difficult to reach your destiny, and it's very difficult to reach all the blessings God has for you when you're staying connected to toxic family. And for all of the Christians, okay, I know religious people like to tussle, and religious people like to give advice where you're telling people to stay connected to abusers. That's a big problem that I have with religious Pharisee-styled Christians. When you're telling people to stay connected to abusers, I hope you have the money to pay for their funeral if they end up in a box. I hope you have the money for their obituary, their funeral, their casket, everything. You better have that money if you're going to sit up on that pulpit and encourage people to stay connected to toxic people, abusive people, physically abusive people, emotionally abusive people. I hope you have a funding foundation to pay for their psychological services, their therapeutic services, and the amount of money it's going to cost them to visit therapy, because you have convinced them to stay near toxic family in the name of the Lord, which is not true. God wants you to be happy. God does not desire for you to be getting dragged by your lace front by your toxic family. That's not what he wants for you, okay? And that's not what he wanted for me, which is why I got away and my life got better. So when it comes to karmic families, what I've noticed with people is you stay connected to these people forever. People reject ascension. There's something called ascension rejection. I talk about it in the Secret Circle. Many people don't want to be better. They don't want to become a better person, right? They don't want to self-actualize. They don't want to ascend. They don't want to stop being toxic. They don't want to stop being jealous. They don't want to stop, right? But you're staying connected to your family because you have in your mind that they're going to change, or because you love them, you have to deal with the pain they're inflicting on you anyways, right? Wrong. You're not right. You're wrong. And when you stay connected to these kind of people, it's going to hurt you. That will hurt you in the long run. And you're going to lose so many years that you could have enjoyed yourself, celebrated, connected with amazing people. You are going to lose those years to your toxic family. And guess what? You're going to end up old and bitter like them, because you gave them your time. You didn't divest. You didn't separate yourself. So based on what I've seen from the Braxton family, I think that these ladies don't really like each other. I don't think that they like each other. I think that they are connected to each other by obligation. Okay. You know how you may have family members you don't like, but because of their title, you do your duty. Like you show up, you pick up the phone, you take them to the hospital, you lend them money. You do your obligation because of their title. But if it wasn't for their title, you would never deal with their kind because you don't like them. That is what I feel like is going on here. These are a group of people that are dealing with each other by obligation. Can we judge them? No. That is what a lot of people are doing. You're really dealing with people by obligation. You really don't like them. You don't have the confidence to leave them behind, right? So you're kind of you're dealing with people by obligation because of their title or how long you knew them or whatever. So here's what I think. I don't think that these ladies, again, I could be wrong, just my general observations, they don't like Tamar. I think I've come to that conclusion. Tamar is not liked. Is Tamar innocent? No, none of these ladies are innocent. They all are women that need to ascend. They are all women that have a lot of dysfunction in their hearts. They are a lot of women that need healing, but they've rejected ascension for so long, so therefore they're where they're at now. But I'm going to give you my observations on each person's personality. I don't think any of these ladies like Tamar Braxton. That's one of the sisters. I think that if Tamar was not their family, they wouldn't be friends with her. And I can tell by the way they look at Tamar in scenes, they kind of give her, you know that look that you give someone where it's like, oh my God, I want nothing to do with you. You know that look? They think that Tamar's annoying. Okay, Tamar was on The Real, by the way, you guys. Tamar is very animated. She's naturally like that. That's her character. That's her personality. She's animated. She likes to laugh. She likes to have a good time. She likes to over exaggerate. She's very, what do you call that? Tamar is very animated. She's very animated. Is that bad? No, that's her personality. There's nothing wrong with that. But not everybody's going to like that though. And I feel like her sisters don't like that. I think they find her annoying. And a lot of times in the scenes, I feel like when Tamar's getting ready to talk, everybody takes a deep breath. Because I feel like they feel like she's too much for them, like her character. And Tamar, it's not that Tamar character is wrong. It's just wrong for them. They don't like that. And what I want you guys to understand when it comes to these toxic families or just people in general, there are going to be people who don't like your personality. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. You just don't fit their preference, and that's okay. Like me, there's a lot of people online who don't like me. There's people online who say I'm mean. They say I'm bitter. Some people say I'm a sociopath. Some people say I'm a narcissist. Some people say I'm Jezebel. Some people say I'm a witch. Some people say I'm a bitch. Some people say I'm too into myself. Some people call me a fraud. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because I wasn't designed to be liked and accepted by everybody. It doesn't matter. The right people that like me, and they're here. And the people who don't are still here because they're addicted to the truth and they're not going to get in anywhere else, right? And then there's a group of people who are like, oh no, let me just block her. I don't like her, which is fine. I don't take it personal. I think with Tamar, the way she may relate to a lot of you guys listening is, some of you guys, your family just doesn't like your character. It's you that they don't like. Your personality, your aura. It's not personal. They just don't like you. And if they weren't your family, they wouldn't be your friend. And don't take that personal. It just means that you need to ascend and divest from them. Tamar gets gaslighted a lot. There's a lot of reactive abuse in regards to Tamar. And the reason why I feel this way, let me put in the scene. When I saw that scene and I saw how Tawanda, and I think is it Tracy? Or is it, what's the other sister's name? I apologize. Is it Trina or Tracy? Once I saw how Tawanda looked at the other sister, I'm like, oh, this is reactive abuse, allegedly, in my opinion. Because when Tamar was getting upset and they looked at each other and winked and smirked and smiled, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. You guys have to become masters at body language, okay? Because when you're able to read humans and their body language, there is no informant that will be around you because you can read people. So the minute I saw that clip, I paused it and I'm like, oh, wow. So they are purposefully doing things to this lady to get her upset. I can see it because I saw the wink and I saw the smirk, and I'm like, oh, they like messing with her. They like to poke her and see her react and get a rise out of her, and they go back home and they laugh about it on the phone. This is what bullying is. This is what women do, right? I'm going to be honest. A lot of women are bullies. I talk about this all the time, how women are bullies and how women poke the bear and run. Women throw rocks. They hide their hands. Women like to start trouble, and then when you react to it, they play victim. I thank God I don't have any sisters. I can honestly say that. I have 0 sisters. Thank the Lord. I have 1 brother. That is more than enough. I do not want sisters. I'm so happy I don't have any, because I couldn't deal with this level of toxicity every day of my life. And a lot of people who have large groups of sisters, it's always like this because women are, let's just say women are a lot. They're very emotionally erratic. And if they're not ascended, it's going to be a team up bullying kind of thing. Tracy, one of the sisters, is no longer there. She was the scapegoat, but she passed away. Rest in peace to her. She passed away from cancer. So now that she's gone, it's like, okay, who's next? Who's going to be the next scapegoat? I personally think that now Tamar is the scapegoat. And if Tamar divests and separates herself, they're going to pick another person, right? Or I don't think they would, because this brings me back to Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is the celebrity of the group of sisters. I think Toni is the sister that all the sisters are a fan of. Like, they don't want to lose her friendship. They don't want to lose a connection to her. They think that she's like, I feel like she's kind of like the Regina George. I don't think she acts like a Regina George, but I think Toni Braxton reminds me of, she has that Beyonce aura. She reminds me of the woman that everyone wants to be friends with. That's the vibe I get from Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is the woman that all the girls want to be friends with, but they can't. That's the energy that she has. And she has that appeal, that femme fatale, mystery. She's very beautiful, talented, low key. Reminds me of the girl that everybody wants to be friends with, but they can't. And she is in this group with her sisters. And I don't know, I feel like when it comes to Tawanda, and Tina, or Trina, I believe is her name, they are kind of major fans of Toni. It's very weird. I feel like they fangirl over Toni, even though Toni is their sister. I find that very strange, but I get it, because Toni has celebrity energy. She's like the Kim K of the group. There's always a Kim K in the family. Toni is that. Is Tamar a big fan of Toni and idolizes her? I don't think so. I think Tamar feels like her and Toni are on the same level. I feel like Tamar really likes Toni and Toni really likes Tamar, but I feel like Toni her personality and Tamar's doesn't really mesh. I think that Tony's very, very chill, extremely chill. And I think that sometimes Tamar is just a little bit too much for her. And I saw that in one of the old scenes where Tony literally told the therapist, I feel like Tamar, ever since she was a little girl, it's a lot of extraness, and that's very draining for me. And she was honest about it. And Tamar was very sad when Tony said this, because imagine your sister straight up telling you, your personality annoys me. That's not an easy thing to digest. Okay. And I honestly, check this out. I feel like Tony doesn't really like any of them, if I'm being honest. I think that, again, like she said, if they weren't her family, they wouldn't be her friends. And when Tony said that, I really related to her, because I've always felt that way about my family. I'm like, oh my God, I don't like these people at all. Like, I feel like I'm trapped in a cage with these people. That's how I started to feel before I divested. And I had to keep fake smiling and acting like I wanted to be around them. And I tried to confide in them, and I tried to open up to them. But then when I realized this is not really my vibe of people, I'm like, all right, let me close the door on that. I'm old enough to turn my back on that. I don't want that. I don't see that being a part of my life. I'm creating the life that I desire. That's not a part of it, and I'm going to leave that behind. No hard feelings, but deuces, right? Toodles, toodaloo. And I think that that's kind of Tony. Tony doesn't really, she said it, like she does her duty as a sister, but I don't think she likes them the way they like her. And out of guilt, she allows the connection to continue. That's genuinely what I think. When it comes to Tawanda, she doesn't like Tamar. She wanted to call the authorities on her and wanted Tony to press charges. I don't know. This entire group of sisters, I don't feel like they like each other. I genuinely don't. And I think it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's a waste of your life to stay connected to people that don't like you in the name of family. I've always felt that way. Feed them with a long spoon, right? I don't really feel like you have to force yourself to be in extreme close proximity with family members that you genuinely don't like. Why put yourself through that torture? I really don't. I don't know. But in the Black community, I've realized in the Black community, that is a thing, to just stay connected to family. You don't really like them, right? You don't really like them, but you stay connected to them anyways because it's via obligation, right? And that's what you guys have to watch your back with when it comes to karmic family units, is making sure that you don't stay past the expiration date, meaning you move around when you realize they're rejecting Ascension. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of arguing. I don't want to stay connected to these people in close proximity. I'm going to turn my back. I think that you guys have to get to that point at some point, okay? This is part 1. You have to be willing to weaponize your masculinity as a woman. Masculinity is not bad. Masculine energy is not bad. I don't know why people keep saying that. Masculine energy is the ability to reach a goal. Masculinity is what? Goal-oriented, structurally, orderly, being able to show up on times, precision, logic, rationality. Nothing about that is bad. So with the October spooky season coming around and holiday season, make sure you guys are okay being the villain. Yes, villainhood is a real thing, and that's what this class is going to talk about. We are going to speak on the characteristic traits and approaches you have to take when you are no longer living your life to be accepted and validated by people while accepting their bad behavior. Sometimes being the protector in your book looks like being a villain in another person's book. It's all a psychological mind game. If you don't choose yourself, if you don't choose your happiness, if you are not unapologetically you and winning without feeling apologetic about it, guess what? People are going to view you as a villain. But if you already walk in villainhood, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is going to be a good class, especially in conjunction with weaponizing your masculinity. You have to get comfortable with being viewed as a villain. You need a strong mental mind to accept people villainizing you because you are being and doing your best.